Jacqueline Harris has a Master in Social Work from Fordham University. She is a producer and talk show host of I Have a Dream Too, Empowering You. She is also the founder and CEO of a nonprofit organization called I Have a Dream Too, Inc. I had to. Just ask me. Jacqueline is an entrepreneur, empowerment coach, motivational speaker, and visionary. She believes that all people can redefine their purpose, their place, and their possibilities through determination, persistence, and tenacity. Jacqueline has begun to crystallize her goals. Without difficulty, she continues to make plans daily to achieve all possibilities. With her supreme confidence, determination, and disregard for obstacles and other people's criticisms, she will carry out her plans. Why? I have a dream too. Jacqueline knows she can dream anything she wants to dream. That's the beauty of the human mind. Jacqueline can do anything she wants to do. That is the strength of the human will. Most importantly, Jacqueline trusts herself to test all limits. This will be Jacqueline's courage to succeed. Come join me on this journey of empowerment because you have a dream too.
And I'm here this evening with a special guest of mine, straight from Los Angeles, California, and he is the founder of Falcon Youth and Family Services. His name is Mr. Keith Johnson, and I found him through the Rachel Ray show. I was watching it, and I was just so impressed by his compassion for youth, especially young minority boys, and it making a difference positively in their lives to go from boys to men. So we're going to take a look at a little short clip in reference to what he is doing and how he's making a profound difference in Los Angeles, California.
Couple, they're also from Los Angeles, and they use football to help kids not only on the field but off the field too. They are a remarkable couple. Meet them. Watch this.
It is easier to raise boys than it is to fix men. And so we're going to raise you to become a man. Do you understand?
Yes, Coach.
Who are we? Who are we?
We're the founders of Falcon Youth and Family Services, a sports-based youth development program here in South Los Angeles.
We have mentoring. We have an MIT program, which means men in training, ladies in training, tutoring, life skills. We have our summer food program. We have our snack program. We try to feed them because they may not have eaten all day.
Today's menu is meatballs with my world's famous secret recipe sauce. I take a lot of pride in cooking the food. It's an expression of love. It's one thing to have a meal. It's another thing to enjoy the meal that you're having.
Go! Oh!
We monitor our kids in school every week. Kids who don't do that well, who don't bring back good reports, they can't go to practice. We decided that this program will be something different, that it would provide the kids with the activity that they loved, but provide for them the services that they need. South Los Angeles is a very interesting community that has an element of crime, gangs, drugs, and that element unfortunately overshadows the people who are living here just trying to raise their family in a loving, productive way. Some of our babies are forced to grow up too soon. So I want them to be at a place where they can be a kid.
There is no I in team, but there is an I in win. And if you want to win, you need to play like a what? You need to play like a what?
I grew up in the foster care system. It was hard. It was hard because as a child, the only thing you long for is affection and love, the intention of being home. And so, although I had a home, I felt homeless. My mom passed, and at the time that my mom passed, both of my brothers were in prison. My brother placed a call to me, and he said, "You know what, Keith, I'm really proud of you. But for years you've been saying Mama gave you away, Mama gave you away. What you need to understand was you weren't given away, you were rescued." He doesn't know this. Hopefully when he when he sees this, he'll understand it. That it probably was the most powerful statement that anybody's ever made to me. And it's a statement that I tell my kids in foster care that I work with now. One of the challenges in running a program like ours is funding. Money is needed. We do fundraisers and we write grants. We have minimal fees for our participants. Unfortunately, we've had to turn kids away because they simply don't have the funds. They're struggling now. We've done much with little. We can do a great deal more if we had a little more.
Keith and Karen are two very special people. I think that what they do is really, really awesome. I do.
This program helps you with everything, how to be a better man, how to get your grades up, how to take care of your mom and elders and stuff like that.
My nickname is Prez or Coach Prez. My babies know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Prez loves.
There you go, Steph. Okay. Yes, welcome back. Keith Johnson, we are here with you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good.
I'm
welcome.
Here.
Oh, great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good. We just took a look at the clip and talked about your program and what you do in Los Angeles, California. You shared your story and so forth. And I felt it was important that you share openly again in terms of how you're empowering communities, how you are empowering boys to become men. And so where did this again start for you, and how are things going today?
Well, we've been around youth sports for probably about the last 25, 30 years. I have two sons that played youth football. One's 35 now, and the other's 22. So we've been actively involved with youth sports. However, about 10 years ago, Jim by the name of Snoop Dogg, some of your listeners may know of him.
Of course.
Started the Youth Football League in Los Angeles, and we were initially part of that Youth Football League. Subsequently, we moved on to another organization. But the thought came when the league was started. My thought was the last thing we needed was another Youth Football League. What we really needed was a league that not only played sports, but also focused in on the aspect of youth development. So we came up with an idea of something called sports-based youth development, where we utilize the power of sports, the social capital that comes along with coaching, to actually begin to impact the lives of kids both on and off the field. And so again, we looked at our community and said, what are some of the challenges that our babies face? And that would be education, that would be health and wellness, that would be a lack of mentor role models, that would be character development. And so we just kind of put together a program that we would train our coaches to become mentors and have areas of focus that target character, health and wellness, leadership, and education enrichment.
Great. And so what's happening today? I know you were featured on the Rachel Ray Show, as we said. How have things changed for the group now?
Well, obviously when you're on a national television show and you get that type of exposure, you have a variety of people throughout the country that want to support your work. So we've had seen an increase in our donation.
Having some technical difficulties here in the studio. That can happen. So we will take a break and we'll be right back.
Guys, ready for the show? Yeah. Enjoy it.
Let our creativity work for you. We design business cards, brochures, annual reports, newsletters and magazines, menus and programs, flyers and mailers, signs and posters and more. We also do voiceovers. First impressions matter. Make yours count with an expressive voice artist. Distinctive, warm, soothing, natural delivery that can add believability and appeal to any audio project. Contact us to discuss how we can make your project a success. Sierra Graphics. That's info@sierragraphics.com.
We're going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm Renee Marie. I'm the president of Language of Love Incorporated Foundation. I'm really happy to tell you that we're going to be doing a Language of Love telethon on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please look for the location on my website, ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And the show will be hosted on the Madhouse TV. It really is important for you to be aware of strokes and aphasia. Strokes is the third leading cause of death in America and the first leading cause of disability. And it really is something that plays no favoritism. And it also really comes when you're not expecting. Nobody expects to have a stroke, and nobody expects to suffer from aphasia. And it really does make a huge impact in your life and change your life in one split second. So we look forward to having everyone join us once again on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you can follow us on ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. Once again, it's ReneeMarieLanguageOfLove.org. And we look forward to seeing you. God bless.
Old Spice body spray will make you feel so powerful to blow your mind right in front of your face. Goodbye. Oh no! Power!
Automatic freshness, softness, and static control has never been easier with the Bounce Dryer Bar. I just stick it to the inside of my dryer, and I never have to remember.
Oh, Old Spice body spray makes you smell like power! It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like power.
Yeah, I do. Power! Power!
Try this routine to feel fresh and clean. Pair Charmin Fresh Mates with your Charmin.
Oh, Spice body spray is too powerful to stay in its own commercial. That's right. Power! Old Spice body spray can change a regular smelling man into a man who smells like power!
Now, how is this? Wow, you know what? I actually do feel more powerful.
Potato chips! Power! It's me.
Welcome back to the show. We had some technical difficulties, but that's okay. We'll be connecting back with Mr. Johnson, but in the meantime, we're going to continue to take a look at all the great, wonderful stuff that he's doing with Falcon Youth and Family Services. So let's take a look.
Southern California kids, so we decided to introduce you guys to an amazing couple, also from Southern California, Keith and Karen. They lead this program to help kids in football and cheerleading, but it's about so much more. They give them access to great nutrition. They cook for them literally. They give them great life advice for off the field. They're just really something special. We wanted to do something special for them, so we sent them a fellow Falcon. Check out what happened during Tony's visit.
You held your ground this time. Now move it the next time. You can do it, son.
I caught the truck out of my peripheral vision. I seen it and I'm like, okay, well, that's his background
for the show.
I am so serious. Big game on Saturday. Do you understand?
Hey there,
Oh,
SoCal
wow.
Falcons. Listen up and gather round. This future Hall of Famer started playing football as a kid right here in Southern California, just like you guys. He's a legendary tight end, and today this 14-time Pro Bowler is here with you. Put your hands together for one of the greatest to ever play the game, Tony Gonzalez.
And I'm looking at Tony Gonzalez and I'm like, wow, here, taking the time out to see our babies, and he's a Falcon. He's a Falcon. And he's one of the greats.
I'm Tony Gonzalez, like I said, and guess what? I was a former Falcon, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys. You guys ready to get to work? Yeah! All right. Falcon Jumping Jacks, are you ready? To see the reaction from the kids, from the coaches, and obviously Keith and Karen, it puts joy in my heart. And it just lets me know that it's all worth it, man. There is something good going on out here with these guys. All right, guys, I got a little something special for you guys. And this is from the NFL Play 60, and they're all about keeping kids active and healthy, and that's what you guys have been doing just by being out here. I was that kid sitting there taking that knee, looking up, listening to an NFL football player come talk to us, and it's such a big impact.
To have an NFL player here is like really a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I've never met one. I've really always wanted to meet like someone big like Tony Gonzalez. I was really honored.
You guys run an incredible program here. I can tell by the passion and the way these kids are responding that you guys are doing something great, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. And on behalf of Rachel Ray, myself, and the NFL, here is a check for you guys it's a blank check, I'm gonna write in the number, for $10,000 for you guys. Best moment of the day, the reaction of Keith and Karen. We were able to present to them the $10,000 and support the program.
We probably got about 30 parents out there who still owe football fees. You can tell those parents that their fees are taken care of.
Thank you, baby. And I'm happy I'm here.
$10,000. And we were like, oh my goodness. And the first thing comes to my mind is the parents who need support. Thanks to Rachel Ray, Tony Gonzalez, NFL. Thank you. Awesome.
I am so glad that I'm able to come out here and be a part of this with you guys. And there's one more thing. You guys are coming out to New York to be on the show with us, with me and Rachel Ray. So get ready for that. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun. Okay?
We going to New York!
When you really put your mind to do something, the universe comes together and makes it happen. And it happened today for us. And we're so excited.
You look great. You look great.
Don't they look like they're on their own little team?
They look like a little dance team right here.
So cute, a little salt and pepper.
Yeah, I got to coordinate
So
it. Good.
cute. All right, let's sit at the table and chat for a
Okay.
minute. Okay. Karen, why don't you take the outside there? Gentlemen, you go on the inside. Well, first of all, welcome to New York. You were so excited.
Yes. We're
You're
here.
enjoying great weather, too. It's so beautiful.
Yes.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, you know, the $10,000, will that go a long way for you guys with the program that you're...
Well, first it made an immediate impact. Immediate impact. As we say, we had some parents who was really struggling in pain.
Right.
And so when we received the
They had a
check,
good time.
the very first thing that we can think about is let's take care of those parents. That's one stress that they don't have to worry about. And we want to say thank you because the other portion of the money is going to go to buy uniforms. It's been 5 years since we purchased uniforms for our babies.
Wow.
And so next year is going to be our 10th year anniversary. And so we're going to be able to get brand new uniforms for the 10th year. We're excited about that. We're excited about that.
That's great. That's great.
babies.
Oh, they're
That
my
is just
babies.
great. They're your babies. But also, as we saw on the tape, you're from the foster care system.
Right.
This is volunteer work for you.
Yes.
I mean, you're not getting paid for this. What is the most rewarding part about this, and how do you keep it going?
The most rewarding part for us is to see a smile on a kid's face. That, that we're doing something in his life that makes him happy. Because the best thing in life is to see a happy child.
Let me listen to that. Child should be full of love, learning, and laughter. So we want to make sure that they receive those 3 L's. But then, unfortunately, the community that we live in has many challenges. And so many of these babies take the foundation that we're helping with the parents, and they go to the next level. We have many kids that are in college. We have many kids that are on athletic scholarships. We have a young man who received a foundation scholarship. He traveled Europe all year long. He's a quarterback for Ivy League school. One of our players was recently drafted by...
And we're back with Mr. Johnson and the Falcon Youth and Family Services. And I apologize for any technical difficulties that may has occurred, but we are here, and we've been able to view in full the clip from the show, and it's just such an inspiration to see the work that you're putting into these young boys. Just continue to talk about that a little bit more.
Well, yeah. So again, as I stated before, that we just simply decided that we would use sports as the vehicle to launch our boys to a next level. That we shouldn't just simply teach them how to run, how to throw, how to catch, how to pass. That we needed to use that social capital that came along with sports, period. And so the real key is our coaches, that they're now our mentors, and that they incorporate some of the life skills and lessons that our babies need to learn on a daily basis. So it's really important that we focus in on academics, that we focus in on health and wellness, that we focus in on values and character. Our motto is it's time to teach new school kids old school values.
Right.
And so we want to utilize that time to begin to bring those values back to our babies.
I like the way that you say your babies, because that takes ownership, but it also brings value, which is extremely important in our youth today, and placing the value and helping them to understand their self-worth, which also brings them the character that they need to evolve. So I like the fact that you take that ownership as if you gave birth to these young boys.
Correct.
Now, you do other things in terms of, you do some cooking, I understand, as well.
Yeah. Cooking is a passion of mine. It is an absolute passion. I have a benefit of traveling a lot and enjoying the dining experience throughout the country. We want to bring some of that back home again to our babies. And so 2 years ago, we signed up with a program called the Summer Food Service Program, which literally allows us to prepare meals for kids within our city. So during the summer, we prepare about 1,000 meals a day to kids throughout Los Angeles. It's meals that literally, I have a team that cooks. I do most of the cooking of the meat. But they're full meals. Your servings, your vegetables, your proteins, your grains, your milk product. And initially, we could have been what's called vended, meaning we could go out and get people to prepare the meals and take them to the babies. But again, it's important. It's important that they understand love. And for Black people, our food is a way of expressing the love that we have for the people that's around us. And so we decided that we will cook daily for those babies and provide them a home-cooked meal as opposed to something produced in a factory.
Right. That's excellent. So throughout all of this, you have actually redefined your purpose, because you didn't start off as doing this mentorship program, etc. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I was saying that you actually, through all of this, have redefined your purpose, because this is not something that you initially started out doing as a mentorship program. I think just
it's grown. No, it's grown. It's grown tremendously. My personal work is I'm a national speaker. I train social services departments on how to effectively work with boys, how to move them from a point of pain to a point of power. Most of it came from my personal experience in the foster care system, and I understood the steps that was needed to be that person that would break the cycle of challenges that took place in our family. And so what we simply decided to do was, if we're going to have a sports program, then let's do more. And it seems like every year we're adding another dimension to the work that we're doing. Again, as we said before, football, then academics, then health and wellness, then preparing meals, feeding our babies. Now we're taking another step. And the next step is we're going to begin to mentor other organizations to teach them how to expand their area of services, and literally to be able to go after the funding that they need. A lot of our sports programs really provide good services, but because they're only defined as a sports program, they can't get the mentoring money, or they can't get the health grants. So we're going to begin to train organizations both here and throughout the country on how to redefine yourself so that you can get those fundings to allow you to better serve your babies.
Yes, and that's one reason why I started the program after working 32 years in the field of child welfare and primarily in foster care system, and seeing that there's not many tools that are, or trainings that are available to help a lot of our youth. They're not walking away with a lot of the tools that are necessary to keep them empowered, but to be able to be successful in today's society. So I have you thought about coming to New York to offer those mentorship type of trainings for other social service organizations?
Listen, if someone from New York says come to New York, I would come. When I was there for the Rachel Ray show, had a wonderful time, would love to come back, because the need is across the board. And here's the thing that we have to understand. One of the problems when it comes to working with our children is that there is misinformation given to our children about who they are in relationships to how they should be feeling. Meaning, most of the people give our children anger management courses. The reality of the situation is 99% of our kids do not have an anger issue. They don't understand emotion. They don't understand that anger is a secondary emotion, that they have a hurt issue or a rejection issue or a fear issue or depressed issue. And once we begin to help them understand what they really feel, and that those feelings, if not dealt with effectively, roll over into anger, they will always have problems. And so my challenge is helping people understand, teach our babies this wonderful word called emotion. They're neither good nor bad. They're designed to tell our babies how they feel, and then help them process their primary emotion so it doesn't have to roll over into anger. So again, our babies are just not getting the proper treatment because the people that surrounded them want to label them, but they're being mislabeled.
Right, I definitely agree. And basically, we're a society that is not a feeling person. So most of the time, if you ask someone how you're feeling, I'm good, I'm okay, and I'm all right. But it certainly is not a role model type of event that will help our youth to be able to describe their feelings, that I'm feeling hurt or angry, sad, whatever that may be. So it's definitely something that we need to role model for them to bring out the expression of their pain, their disappointment, their rejection. So I'm right on board with you with that. And again, it's about the whole empowerment and you know, reclaiming the confidence that's necessary so they can walk in triumph after they have gone through such programs as yours and many throughout the United States.
Correct. And then the other thing that's really important when we're working with our children is really to help them understand that they're not alone. That many people have experienced some of the same challenges they've experienced, and they've been successful. Now, one of my frustrations with people that work in foster care is they constantly want to give kids the statistics as it relates to the failures. That 50% up homeless or 50% up ending in jail. Well, wait a minute. We have very successful people that were in foster care that never was homeless and never went to jail. Let's tell those success stories. Let's build their spirit, letting them know that you're not, you are a survivor, and that you have some strength inside of you that will help get you to the next level.
I call that standing in a circle of courage. And in that circle of courage are people that have your back. And like you said, there are many people that have been in foster care and quite successful. So there's a lot of work to be done throughout the United States, and I'm so thankful that you've been able to come on the show and share the information of how you're empowering not only just black male and minority boys, but also girls as well, that I see that are part of your program as well. So it's definitely something that's needed. Now, where can people find you if they want to do a donation or collaborate with you? Where can people find you?
They can find us at our website. Our website is FYFS, the number 1, I'm sorry, let me correct that. That's my email. FYFS.org.
Okay, and that's
It
the
stands
acronyms.
for Falcons
Yes.
Youth and Family Services.org.
Okay. And if they can also Google Falcon Youth and Family Services, and they could certainly find you located there in Los Angeles, California. Is there anything?
Sure, that would definitely.
Right. Is there anything that you can leave with our watching and listening audience about empowerment and what we need to do?
Well, one of the things I would just like to tell anyone that's listening, follow your passion. Do the things that will improve the lives of someone else, whether you get paid for it or not. Tell your story.
Yes.
Tell your story to your children, and tell your story to the people that you work with. People need to know that adults have had some challenges in their life, and that you use those challenges not to bury them, but to empower them.
I agree.
And then the last thing, volunteer. Find an organization that works within the capacity of your passion and give that organization some time.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. We had some technical difficulties, but we were able to share and view all of your information in regards to Falcon Youth and Family Services and all the wonderful, great things that you're doing to help these young children come up and define what their purpose is in life so they can be successful citizens in this country, and even Los Angeles, which is a challenging area in itself. So again, I want to thank you for coming on, and we definitely are going to connect, and I will be keeping in contact with you in regards to the services that you're providing.
Thank you so much. Glad you reached out. Glad that I could be on. Forgive the technical difficulty on our end, and anything I can do to assist you in your work or help anyone else in New York, let me know.
I will definitely do that. Thank you, and have a great evening.
You too.
Great, and we'll be right back.
$1.3 million women are victims of physical assault by an intimate partner each year. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the majority of cases aren't reported to the police. Most people who are in an abusive relationship don't even know they're in one. The truth is, all abusive relationships boil down to one thing: control.
How do you like it? My new dress.
Are you out of your mind? You look like a prostitute. We're not going out with you dressed up like that in public.
But what am I supposed to wear?
Wear something decent. You can't wear that out in public. We're going to be late. Get back in there and pick a different outfit. I'm going to go run some errands. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Please be ready, okay?
Fine, I'll change. Fine.
Abuse is not always physical, leaving wounds that are visible on the outside.
Emotional abuse is just as painful, only these wounds are hidden on the inside.
Are you out of your mind? You're crazy. You look like a prostitute.
Know that abuse is abuse, no matter what the form.
Look at me.
Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Physical abuse scars the body,
I just want him to love me.
but mental abuse scars the mind.
What you just saw was an example of a relationship that is emotionally abusive. Nobody has the right to tell you how to dress or how to act. If someone really cares for you, they won't tear you down. They will build you up.
How do you like it?
Wow. You look great. Fantastic. But then again, you look great all the time.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd like it. It's my new dress. I bought it just so we could go out tonight.
You look stunning.
Thank you. But I think I'm going to take a sweater just in case it gets cold tonight.
Great idea. I'm going to take one too. Let's go.
All relationships are not perfect, but a healthy relationship is when two people bring out the best in each other and have each other's good in mind. Take your time to know someone instead of rushing into something. It is better not to involve yourself with an abusive person than to try and get out of a domestic violence situation.
If someone is abusive to you and you need help, please call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. They have highly trained experts available 24/7 who will speak with you confidentially and offer information regarding the unhealthy aspects of your relationship, resources, or immediate support for victims to find safety and live lives free of abuse. Domestic violence affects us all.
It affects us all.
It affects us all. 모두에게 영향을 줍니다.
Che ci ricarte tutte.
It affects us all.
Domestic violence.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, GMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with the one and only Madhouse TV.
You are the man.
Time to make the donuts. Dunkin' Donuts are always fresh. I made the donuts. We make them at least twice every day. Time to make the donuts. Not a few kinds, like supermarket. Made the donuts. Time to make the donuts. But up to 52 varieties. The donuts. Time to make the donuts. I made the donuts. Dunkin' Donuts, up to 52 varieties, fresh day and night. No supermarket can say.
Welcome back to I Have a Dream Too. I'm your host, Jacqueline Harris, and I'm back here now with the beautiful, talented author, writer, motivational speaker, cancer survivor, Miss Jubilee Mosley. Welcome, Jubilee.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. When I talked with you, I was just so moved and just so, again, I use the word inspired by your passion, your charisma, your, the challenges that you've experienced. So when we talk about I Have a Dream Too, let's talk about that. Where does that all come from?
It comes from my upbringing. It comes from my faith in God. And it comes from just life's journeys. You really have to kind of listen along the way because as you listen along the way, you get to learn more about who you are. There's a lot of noise in life. Even thinking back to high school, there was a year where I just decided I was going to follow everyone.
Right.
And sometimes people attribute that to like being a teenager. But the truth is, if you are surrounded by those people, your entire life could be like that, where you're more of a follower, where you're more in tune with what other people's voices say, and then you don't even get to hear your own voice.
Right.
So it's like a life skill to learn how to hear God and to move in the direction that's really symbolic and representative of who you are as an individual, as opposed to what everyone else says you are.
Right. So you decided to give yourself a voice, and where did that lead you?
The voice led me to, I think, a greater place of freedom. I think through my life experiences, I learned that the best thing to be is an original. And that came through just great, pains and different experiences that weren't necessarily pleasant, but it was one of the greatest lessons I've learned in life is that you are an original, and it's better to be an original than it is to be a duplicate or a copy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So now you have 2 books. You're a motivational speaker. Where did this all come into? Now you had the voice. Now let me write about it.
Yep. Well, my dad always told me, he says, you're a writer. He's like,
Okay.
stop talking, just write it down, because sometimes my words would be very blunt or sharp or harsh. I didn't mean to. I just have always been a truthful person. And so I developed a very strong affinity for writing. And I've always just been a very good writer. And I started to write just different posts on Facebook, funny enough, about my son. And they were just funny. Like, he would do things like take his sock off and wipe his mouth after he ate spaghetti and meatballs, or try to use our toothbrushes to clean the bathtub, or he would call my husband babe, open the basement door, go, babe! And I'm like, no, Sid, you don't call him babe, you call him daddy. And they just gave us such great chuckles, so I would share them on Facebook. And people that I was aligned with would come and they would post, laugh out loud or what have you. And then one of my my very close friends, she said, you should write a book. And I was like, a book? No, it was just Facebook posts. And then another person that I'm really close to came and they're like, you should write a book. And then I actually gave it some thought. And I said, you know what? I do have enough material from this. He was then 2 years old, from this 2-year-old little boy, that I could write a book. And so the moment that I actually considered the thought and gave it a chance, I started to write it down, and then just one foot in front of the other. So I contacted a graphic designer, and they said, sure, we'll take the project on. We'd love to do that. Like, there aren't so many books out there with little brown boys in there as the main character. So they jumped at the opportunity, and then I went on to Amazon to find out about the writing process, put it together, and published it.
And it's called?
Dear Sid.
Dear Sid. ... Okay,
Yes.
and it's a children's book.
It is.
Okay, which can be found on Amazon right now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
And so then your story takes a little turn, and then you become diagnosed with cancer. And not just cancer, an aggressive type of cancer. If you want to share a little bit about that and how that made a turning point in your life.
Yep, absolutely. So I heard you mention in the previous interview about this whole circle of courage, and that's really huge. So I was 26 years old. At the age of 25, I was accepted into a leadership program, which I think is like probably one of the best in the nation. And I was training to become a principal of an urban school. And the schedule is pretty hectic because you have just long days, early mornings, late nights. between doing my residency and also earning a master's degree as well in educational leadership. And so I had this lump, and I discovered it, you know, as through a self-examination just in the shower. I went to different doctors and all that, and they said, oh, no, it's not cancer. You're too young for that. It's not cancer. It's probably, you know, some other kind of name they gave it, some kind of cyst, but not cancer. And then finally, one doctor said, we should do a biopsy. So they did a biopsy. It came back positive for cancer. It came back that the tumor was malignant. And so one day I'm at work, and I get a phone call. This is the result phone call. And I'm just trying, I can't figure out why the doctor won't tell me what I need to know, like on a voicemail or what have you. And so I go to the bathroom, I take the call, and she goes, Mosley, it's not good. You got to come in right now. It's cancer. It's bad. So I was 26. It was devastating. I grabbed my chest and I said, Jesus, be a healer to me, as tears just went down my face, because it was just a very black moment. Called my husband a lot, but he was teaching, so he couldn't pick up and didn't know, you know, the urgency of it yet. Called my dad, and my dad started to, you know, pray on the phone. And then we went to the doctor to hear what they had to say. And after I heard what they had to say, I decided that I was not going to allow my perspective to align with their report. So I was not going to see myself as someone who had cancer. I never viewed myself as someone who had cancer. I thought, yes, there is a tumor, and it is cancerous. That can be removed, and I can be healed. So I went with that sort of thinking, and that's what helped me through. Chemotherapy, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Went through it, lost all my hair. I was very cute, though. I was a cute, bald person, honey.
Right.
You ain't never seen a baldy like mine.
Right.
Yes, it was a great baldy. You know, and it was very painful. It was very painful. But what I learned through the process that helped me is that you have to stay away from people who have pity parties. People mean well, but sometimes they just don't know how to help in those situations.
Right.
And so sometimes people get offended, but you have to do what's best for your own kind of mentality and psyche, so that you don't quit. Because there are many days where you could just quit. The pain is so great. Multiple surgeries, had to get a lumpectomy, had to get a port put in so that they could put the chemotherapy into my body, different shots. I lost my immune system. And so it was very tough. But I had prayer. I had the love of Jesus Christ. I had a praying mom, a praying dad, a mom that would stay with me, a husband that made sure that I was taken care of. And I had people who would constantly encourage and pray for me. I also didn't give up the things that brought joy into my life. So I also sing. I minister on Sundays, every Sunday morning at my own church. So when I was well, I would go and I would sing. And I tell people, sometimes going through the process, people don't understand. You have ugly moments. And I had ugly moments where I would just stand and cry, and my mascara would just drench my face. But I was okay because I was making it through. Because I was still alive, and I wasn't dead, and I still could smile, and I still could sing, and I still could dance. And when I was sick and when I didn't feel too well, I'd be in the bed. But when I got that energy back, I was back on it. And that's what I would encourage anyone, no matter if it's cancer or whatever you're going through in life, that you don't lose that courage. You don't lose the fact that you're still alive. And if you're still alive and you still have breath in you, then you have a life to live. You have things that you can accomplish, and you need to still go for it, because life is for the living. And I learned that, and not to quit, not to quit.
And it really falls into the line of, and saying all this, you may have not been, but I have a dream too, still. Okay, despite all of what I was feeling and experiencing and so forth, but I have a dream too. So it is a mental mind thing, in which the hope is to bring out to many people who are watching is that you can still have a dream despite hearing your story, okay, who may not even experience cancer and chemo, etc., but still live out your dream.
Absolutely.
And so now the turning point comes, you've now obviously beat the cancer, okay? And you've been cancer-free for
7 years.
7 years. Wonderful. Oh, I have to give it to you.
That was good.
That's beautiful. And so through that period of time, you've written another book. Okay. And that book comes as a result of being a cancer survivor. And again, it just allowed you to put you into what I always say, that circle of courage, to be able to stand forth and be able to design your passion.
Yeah.
So the book, okay. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. We'll come back and talk about the book.
Awesome.
All right, great. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm here with Jubilee Mosley. As I said, beautiful, talented, motivational speaker, author, cancer survivor. And we're back talking about her second book, which is where she has redesigned her passion. And it is called Believers with Benefits, Tithing Testimonies.
Yes.
Look at you, girl. Second book, okay?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Where does that come from?
Yep. It comes from learning at a young age the importance of giving, and that we are so blessed. You know, we have jobs, we have resources, we have food, and that a portion of that should go back to the giver, right? And I believe God is the life giver, and without him, we can have nothing, right? It's in him that we have all things, and so it's only right to give back to him a portion of what he's given to us, and that's called tithing.
Right.
And so growing up, that was something that we were taught to do. And so from the time when I had my first job, I've been giving 10%. And I learned the importance of it, that it's not, if people say, well, how could you give to God? He doesn't need any money. Absolutely right. However, in order to do his work in terms of ministering to people, making sure that poor people have food, you know, that education happens the way it needs to happen, that the gospel of Christ goes out, that takes money. right, to be able to minister to those in need.
Right.
And so it's light, it takes money to turn on lights, all those things. And so in order to do that, you have to have people who are committed to giving to the cause. And so I learned that is why I give my money for that.
Right. And you have a chapter in here called The Backstory. What is that?
The backstory. I'm talking about what I learned and really how backstory is what I learned when I was younger that impacts what I believe now about tithing. And so when I think about, I think in there I talk about when I was 19 and it was time to kind of buy a suit, or I think I wanted to do various things with the money. And my dad was like, wait a minute, tell me where your money's been going, because I got a little happy, you know, I had a little job, so I was buying things, but I wasn't necessarily prioritizing. And he said, listen, what you should do when you get your money is that you should make sure you save a little, make sure you do what you have to do, but make sure you always set aside your tithes and your offering, because you get increase by giving, right? A closed hand does not earn anything. You can't give to a hand that's closed. And so you always need to make sure that that's prioritized when you get a sum of money.
Right. And so this particular book also on Amazon right now. So anyone can go to Amazon and order the book.
Yes.
But you also do motivational speaking.
Yes.
So just a little bit about that in terms of where or how you're going about constructing that.
Absolutely. So for me, it's about from inspiration to impact. It's important to me. It's so important to me. If I had any fear at all, it would be that I would die without making the impact that I believe God has called me to make in the earth, right? To encourage other people to be the best them, to make sure that they live out their dreams as well. Right. And so that's like my theme, to move from inspiration to impact, because I do believe that it's great to be inspired. But it's even greater to make sure that that inspiration leads to some sort of impact, to some sort of legacy where not just you are inspired by it, but now you're impacting, inspiring other people to accomplish things as well.
Exactly.
And so that impact is never ending. And so I speak at church functions, I speak at corporate events, I speak at women's empowerment events. I'm pretty much open to where God has me to go. And you can find me at www.itsjubilee.com. There are booking inquiry tabs on there where you could contact me if you'd like to have me come out and speak. Also, the links for my books are on that site as well.
Okay. So you have both books, okay?
Yes.
Sid.
Dear Sid.
Dear Sid.
Yes.
Dear Sid. Okay, and the tithing. And in terms of just going back to the circle of courage, I truly believe that in that circle, people have your back, no matter what. And that courage has allowed you to sit forth today and talk about your dream. And I like the part where you talk about inspire and then impact, which is so desperately needed in the world today, that we need so many people like you to be able to touch someone else. And so your work is not in vain at all. And I appreciate you, and actually I'm so proud of you to just be such a wonderful person, to be able to come on and share your story and talk about your challenges and triumphs, but to talk about all the wonderful things that you're doing and still about to come. And now it is your spiritual calling, and the foundation that was set for you as a young child, okay, be a writer, be a speaker, and now here you are.
Yeah.
So anything that you can say in terms of empowerment.
Yeah. To me, it's all about not quitting. It's like having the tenacity. I think that I've been in all sorts of situations where I could have quit, but then I would have had the greatest regret because I was right there. And a lot of times when you feel like, you know what, just forget about it. This is not going to work. This is not going to work, right? And it could be in any area. It could be in your career, schooling, marriage, and a friendship, anything. That really sometimes when you are, or many times when you are at that point where you're saying, I'm just going to give up, you're actually the closest to that breakthrough or to that moment of success, or moment of impact that you've been waiting for so long. And so that's one of my my kind of themes, right? Don't quit, don't give up. Like, it will get better. It will improve.
It will.
Yeah, don't lose hope.
And your faith.
Yes.
Your faith has a lot to do with
Absolutely.
it. And that's what's really what I believe, which brings a lot of people through. That's my belief.
Yes.
Is your faith.
It's mine as well.
Which will help, overcome those burdens, and you know, the anointing will come through.
Absolutely.
So basically, where can people find you? You have itsjubilee.com.
Yes, www.itsjubilee.com.
Right. And also on Facebook.
Yes,
Okay.
on Facebook.
Instagram.
And on Instagram,
Right.
lady_jubilee_.
Okay. And I think that's beautiful. And again, I want to thank you for coming in onto the show. I Have a Dream Too.
Yes.
Empowering you.
Absolutely.
And we will definitely remain connected as well.
Yes.
To continue the journey of empowering others through this process.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank all my guests this evening for sharing their story of empowerment. We're here every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. To share stories of empowerment, empowering others. And I'm going to use Miss Mosley's word, inspire to impact, make an impact on others. So it's been a great evening, and we'll see you next Wednesday from 6 to 7. And be sure to follow me on Facebook as well as on Twitter. And have a great evening. Thank you.